made that mistake once with sea monkeys. I'm never going to do it again.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said sea monkeys.
Hi, I'm Steve, and this is Then You Ruined It, a podcast where me and Jason try to get through just 20 minutes of human interaction without, well, ruining it. Buckle up, folks. It's gonna get bumpy.
So, Jason, I know he's only 6, but are you jealous of your son very often?
I mean, with regards to like energy, flexibility, memory, stamina.
Wiener size.
No. We all know my wiener is much bigger than my son's. He said for posterity on a podcast in 2025 about his 6-year-old son. Just totally appropriate. Yeah, there's definitely some things that I am jealous of, but I mean, by and large, at the end of the day, I'm an adult and I can do way more than he is because I can stay up.
No one's telling me to go to bed. What's that, honey? Okay, I'll be right there. So yeah, when your children are smaller, like you're not really jealous of them. It's like, oh, I wish I had their energy. I wish I had their freedom. But at the end of the day, you know the trade-offs are still really in your favor. You can drive yourself to McDonald's whenever you want. I don't know, touch your wiener and no one yells at you. It's great.
Again, my wife is around, so no. Stop it. You're worse than a dog. We're going to get one of those dog cones for you.
You have to put the cones around your hands and then it have to be like fish bowls. That doesn't work. Unless you're biting it. Are you biting yourself?
Let's get on to your problem. This isn't about me. This is about you.
Yeah, this is about me. So, but as my son has become a young adult, like there is another man living in my house and I just have to deal with that. And it is, something that I find myself getting jealous of him sometimes. As we know, I'm a short guy. If I stand up straight, I hit 5'5". My son is 6 foot flat, 6'3" if you count his luscious head of hair, which I don't have. He is shredded. Like, this kid looks like he could kick my butt, and he probably could kick my butt.
If he's 6 foot and he's shredded, yeah, he could absolutely take your ass.
But he doesn't know how to fight. I've been in some scraps. He's too big. No one's ever tried to pick on him because he's enormous. I had to be put in my place. The other day, he got up and early in the morning ran into the bathroom for his morning constitutional. I was jealous of the amazing sound it made. Because you know what? I don't make that anymore.
The way you're talking, I honestly couldn't tell if you meant like his penis is so large it hit the water and like splashed up. Or if just the poop made a satisfying plop and not a, the sound that it makes.
Your morning constitutional is your morning wee, and then, it was just the big ol', it's like turning on the garden hose, turning off the garden hose. There was no sputtering. It started when he wanted. It ended when he wanted. It was perfect. None of those things happened for me at 42.
I understand that, but also you understand that. And getting unnecessarily aggressive towards your son for his pee streams is there's a family counseling opportunity here, I think.
He's far more successful than me athletically and socially. Like he went to a party for Halloween and we were looking around like these got to be all the cool kids. These kids are all cool. There's not a goober in the bunch. I was nothing but goobers when I was growing up. And, he can hit a home run out of the park. He can throw 80 miles an hour. He's ridiculous. Stop laughing.
No, just the implications of this that I'm not going to say out loud. It's just...
So, anyway, a new thing has happened that I am so not okay with that I need to tell you about it. So, the other day, my son, he was playing Fortnite or Marvel Rivals or something with one of his buddies. And they were also talking. And my son forgets that the rest of us are in the room when he does this. So, he'll just talk about anything, which is great because we get a spy on him and make sure he's not up to no good. And he was talking to his friend and he said, like, dude, you gotta stop just reposting other people's content. You gotta make original content. That's how I get so much more views. You're just stealing stuff. I'm making original stuff and I get more views because of it. And I'm like, wait, views? Views? You can make it social media. So like me and my wife were kind of whispering back and forth, like, what's he doing? What's he on? I don't know. We gotta figure this out. So a few days later, I was driving to baseball and I'm like, hey, son, I noticed when you were talking to your friend the other day that you said you had more views than him. And my son instantly clams up. He's like, I don't want to talk about it. And I'm like, wait, okay, before I wanted to talk about it. Now we need to talk about it. What's going on? It's like, it's not a big deal. No, like, you said you were getting more views than him. I assume that means you have some sort of social media where you're posting content. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well then you need to tell me about it. Like it's not okay. You're still a child. It's not okay for you to be doing stuff without us knowing what it is. And he's like, I really don't want to tell you, Dad. And I'm like, okay, now this is getting suspicious. Why don't you want to tell me? And he looks at me. He's like, I don't want you to get jealous and get mad. And I'm like, or he's like, I don't want you to get sad, I think is what he said. I don't want to make you sad. I'm like, oh, well, here we go. Okay, what are you doing? He's like, I'm making TikToks. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. Now, dedicated viewers of the podcast will know, or hopefully know. If you don't know, go to youtube.com/@then you ruined it.
No, you had it right the first time. You ruined it.
Go to youtube.com/@then you ruined it, and you can find amazing clips of our podcast that I lovingly take out and animate, sometimes spending upwards of 10 hours for the more in-depth ones. Usually they're like an hour. But the hand-animated ones take 10 plus hours to make, and I get really excited when I get 10K views on one. Like that, if 10K people watch one of our snippets, I'm over the moon for a week. And so my son says, I'm on TikTok. I'm like, okay, that's great. What do you put on TikTok? I put basketball memes. Okay. And how are they doing? I can get about 100,000 views on an average one. And I had to just sit there. I'm like, I'm so proud of you.
That look is pride on his face, everyone. He's crying.
Yeah, these are tears of pride, son. Don't. How long does it take you to make one of these memes, son? Like a minute. So he can, with between 1/60th and very smalleth of the time, get 10 times the views on the regular basis that I can only get on our best ones. And I have to be okay with it because he's my son and I'm contractually obligated to love him. And I'm really hoping he'll do a collab with us one day.
I don't think that's a contractual obligation. I think that's we won't go there. There's a different reason for that. But yes, any hot collabs we could do with your son to up our views would be very appreciated by his fledgling father and floundering co-host who have been at this for almost 2 decades.
It's a young man's game, Jason. It's for young men who can pee good, and we can't.
Would you stop lumping me in with that? I can't talk for more than 5 seconds without having to cough something up. But my pee stream is something I'm quite proud of, thank you. It's one of the few things I still have. I hear people talking about, oh yeah, eventually it starts and sputters and you can't tell when it's going to end and you pee everywhere and blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, that is not me. I have a strong stream.
I have a strong stream and a luscious head of hair. I'm virile, ladies, virile.
Okay, there you go. I got 3.
Are you virile, really?
I mean, I don't know. There's nothing happening right now for various reasons, but I'm happy with.
Let's find out.
That side of things.
Who wants to try?
Here, I just went. Look in the cup. See anything swimming? # we're not doctors.
But we'll still give you a cup of stuff to look at if you
seriously, I got to get rid of this cup.
This is from 4 months ago. This is weird that I still have this.
Oh, I meant it
Is
was
that a
a
little tree growing in there?
I meant it was a fresh specimen. No, I'm not gonna leave something laying around. Come on, that's ridiculous.
I made that mistake once with sea monkeys. I'm never gonna do it again.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said sea monkeys. I really, I got to start listening closer. My apologies. Boy, is there egg on my face.
Got to get my keys out of all this jizz.
I'm finding the most clever ways to jump around the fact that I'm talking about that. Just like, oh, this jizz. That's the differences between you and I and our comedic stylings. I try and find the puns and the wordplay, which I've passed on to my son. If I have something I'm going to get jealous of, every time he comes up with a portmanteau that is killer, I give him a high five. Now, admittedly, he tries to portmanteau pretty much everything these days, and it's very annoying. Like, literally, anytime my wife says something, it's like, all right, so you want strawberries, blueberries, and carrots. Dad, more like strawberry carrots. It's like, no, son, that one doesn't work.
Let's see. Strawberries, blueberries, and carrots. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Two of the words are too similar, and it's just it's not one that works. But it's an example of how he tries to turn everything into that and lands like 1 out of every 10 probably.
That's one of the most important skills. It's like in a video game where you can kind of learn what fights you can win and what fights you can't. You need to just develop that sense of this is something I can work with or this isn't, and I don't want to get killed with this. So,
yes,
but he's young. He's virile. He's got nothing but time.
What is your deal with that? Are we getting to the base of the problem? Why you're saying you're very cantankerous these days? Everything is got to be young and virile. Just because you view your son that way doesn't mean I have to view mine. Mine's 6. I don't see him as
but
young
he won't
and
be
virile.
6 forever. My son was 6 once. This is what you have to look forward to, Jason. I'm just trying to pass on a word of warning of what's yet to come. Someday your son's going to have more social media followers than you could ever dream of.
As long as he does that and he's not shredded, I'll be okay with that. Because I don't see where he would get that from. He'd have to get that from his uncle, because I certainly was never shredded. So if he...
if he comes up ripped, you're going to know he's not yours.
Yeah.
I don't have the genes for a 6-pack. Where did that come from, wife? We need to talk.
Never once have I questioned the paternity of my child. And yet, if he comes up with a 6-pack, yeah, that would be the one that's like, not mine. Maury, time to come out of retirement. I got one for you. Look at me. Look at that. All right, I think you've got a case. That is my Maury Povich impersonation, everyone.
Don't know that we needed that, but thank you.
We certainly did not. And it was also terrible. But there it is. So yeah, I mean, good on him. I'm glad he has a following. I'm glad he. Have you watched his content? Like, have you watched it and been like, oh man, that is top shelf. I'm really proud of him. Or have you watched it and be like, I don't get this.
Oh, absolutely, I don't get this. And he said, I'm like, can I see it? And he's like, you're not gonna get it. I'm like, why not? He's like, because you're old and you don't watch basketball. And I'm like, I don't know. Do you have any hot takes on Charles Barkley not being a role model? I might get some of these.
Exactly. You just nailed it. You just nailed why you're not going to get it. Step away from the phone, old man, and go watch your Netflix comedy specials.
And he like showed it to me, and he actually talked me through it. And he's like, here, I'll give you some tips. Maybe these will help you. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh my God. You have no idea how you just went upstairs and just fell face first onto your bed and didn't get up until morning.
If I wasn't driving him at that moment, I would have walked away. Be like, I'm done. I have to go be sad in a room. And the really sad thing is he did tell me the tips, and it was all stuff I was already doing. So I already have his secret sauce, and I'm not good.
No, yeah, exactly. You don't have a secret sauce. You have the tips. The secret sauce is what you're missing, and it's what your son has. It's also, as you've called it, his virility.
But he's not even in his. Like, it's just images of NBA players with text over it. So it's not like it's him that's more popular. It's just his creative output. And that's what really bothers me. If it was just like a picture of me versus a picture of him and people were like, heck yeah, I'm going to get on this train, not that one, I'd be okay with that. I've got eyes. I understand. But as far as like creative content and stuff that just relies on the mind, the ingenuity, and the heart and soul of the person, I'm still coming up short. It pisses me off.
I'm sorry. It is objectively hilarious that you cannot get the views that your son has when he's just posting stills of a basketball game and text over it. Have nothing to do with his own personality. But you also need to be careful what you say about your son. When you say, I don't want to jump on that train. I'm like, no. Don't say that out loud.
No, like, I hope he's more popular with the ladies than I am.
I mean, okay, but
I do want my son to have more than me and to succeed me in time. Like, isn't that what every man wants for his son? Is for his son to grow bigger, stronger, wealthier, with a bigger harem than him?
I mean, you can stop it before harem. Like you're basically saying. Like, I mean, you know, I'm really hoping my son is a huger poon hound than I was.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Then You Ruined It. If you enjoy our flavor of nonsense, please like and subscribe wherever you found us. And please share with your friends and cooler family members.